Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Berlin Calling. I am Kenda Hmeidan from Gorki, and today I am calling a friend of mine. He's a researcher from Syria, but he lives and works at the moment, not at the moment, like years ago in Beirut. I don't want to talk a lot about him because I want to give him the mic to talk more about himself and to tell us more about his work. Hello, Khaddour, welcome.
Hi, Kenda. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are
It's
you?
been a long time.
Yes, very long time.
It was I. It was in 2018. I recall I saw a play of
Yeah,
you. Was called, I remember,
Hamlet
Hamlet
Machine.
Machine.
Yeah,
Yeah, at
yeah,
Gorki. It was
yeah.
really good.
It's long time ago. Yeah, you are
So it's
right.
been like 2 years now. Yeah. So
Right.
how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. And you? Where are you at the moment?
Beirut.
Yeah,
Beirut.
home. Last
Yeah.
time when we were talking, I wanted to ask you what is this board behind you? What is this
It's
room you are
just
sitting in?
like it's a small board where you can take sometimes some notes,
Okay.
and
Is it you
it's
use it
like
for
just
your work?
it's a random notes. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
This is my desk, and this is I can show you. Here's
Ah, cool.
it's like sort of living room, but also it's like
Nice.
it's my is my space actually.
Ah, cool.
Yeah.
I like the ground. It's nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's an old style. It's like 50s, 60s,
Yeah, yeah. Okay,
old fashioned.
I would like to start first with you to tell us more about your work and your research and practically what you are doing.
Yeah, I'm working for a think tank, a global think tank called Carnegie.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Carnegie for International Peace. I'm a non-resident scholar for their Middle East Center. It's based
Mm-hmm.
in Beirut.
Mm-hmm.
With this center, I joined the center in early 2014. Now
Mm-hmm.
it's been like 6 years. Most of my work is on Syria.
Mm-hmm.
I conduct research. I write papers, articles. I attend some events, conferences, and also workshops. Most of our work focus on actually on the transformation in the Middle East. So Syria is, like the big, very big events happened since 2011. So
Mm.
yeah, I'm mostly covering Syria in my own country.
And
And
this organization, this Carnegie is an international um,
it's an international,
center.
yeah, it's a think, yeah, it's a global think tank. They
Mm-hmm.
have Middle East program. They have a Russian program based in Moscow. They have
Mm-hmm.
European program is in Brussels,
Mm-hmm.
and also they have in China and India, and of
Mm-hmm.
course Washington D.C. So it's really all over the world.
Mm-hmm. And you're from your research also you're interested on the borders of Syria and Iraq, or wrote or
That
was
was,
working.
yeah, that was my recent paper. I
Mm,
worked with it with my colleague.
mm.
It was on Syria-Iraqi border, but yeah, I'm working on borders. With
I'm
Carnegie, they have project on borders, so
mm.
I'm
I'm a bit interested how this
I'm
looks
affiliated with.
practically. Like, what is practically the work on the borders? How you research there practically?
Yeah, it's actually a different field than yours. Like. Have I can summarize it in this way. Like for example, the borders. I'm looking on Syria borders. Let's say,
Mm,
okay. Syria with Turkey, Syria with Iraq, This year, I'm working on the Syrian-Turkish border. I'm looking for the emerging border cities in North Syria and South Turkey. I'm more interested in the economic activities on the borders, official economic activities, and also informal economic activities. And also that part of Syria, northwest Syria, is now many people live there, and that area, that zone is outside the Syrian regime control, and it's like you have it's dominated by some radical groups, but also with some opposition organizations, and there you'll find some activists still there. It's like really, it's another world. But in fact, is a border zone. Still is a border zone. It's something between Turkey and let's say Syria, but it's still Syria, but it's something still between, because it's not, that area is outside Syrian regime control, but it is Syria at the same time. So this year I will be working on that region, but this pandemic now affected our. I can't make a field work.
Yeah, this was my next question. How this affected now? How is it now, your work, according to Corona situation and what's going on?
Now is remotely, actually. Is preparations, trying to make some meetings online, organize some meetings online, also interviews online, but it's really just for we can't do that for a long time. So this is like quick response. But so this area, when you study borders, you must go to the borders area. You can't study them.
You go there and you talk to the people, you do interviews, you like, this is what is
exactly.
Exactly.
This is it's our methodology. So we have a strong relation with the field. Most of Carnegie work is field-based work. It's not, we don't give analysis just from like macro, on the macro level. No, we go and we are interested in micro level. So in order to provide good knowledge and analysis, you must have good information. And in order to have good information, you have to go to the field and to be in contact with the field and interviews people, make interviews with people on the field.
And something I'm also interested to know, how you started as a researcher. We were talking the last time about this concept of a researcher, a Syrian researcher in Syria, how people take it, or it's uncommon. So how come, how you think about it? Just was in my mind.
Research in Syria, it's very difficult. The word research, it's unknown among Syrians in the Syrian culture, let's say, because it's considered security rather than science. For the information, research, you need, in order to make research, you have to have good informations. When you want to have good information, people, they will ask you this information, why you are searching for this information. So the whole idea of the research is not understandable in the Syrian society, and of course that for several reasons. One of them that Syria ruled for with dictatorship and authoritarian regime for decades. It's now been almost half century. And also the education system in Syria is not supporting the social research that I'm interested in making. So the research is, to be a researcher in Syria is something very difficult. But to be fair, in the last, during the uprising and after the uprising in Syria, that there is some advance on this issue of the research, especially from the new generation, because they open the technology, help them to see other resources from outside Syria, and now the world somehow connected more. When I talk to the new generations, for example, I want to make an interview with a new generation. And I say, I'm making a research on this topic that I want. I'm not. Nobody will misunderstand me. But if I talk to the old generation, it's still sometimes I find difficulties in explaining to them what is research and why this matter, and this it will be published. It's not a security issue. So in Syria, if you remember that the word study, dirasa amniya, that the security study, it's used by intelligence in Syria. Intelligence, when they want to make to gather information on something or on a person, they call that security study. The word study is referred to security, not to science, not to social research. You know, it's like still that's some of it's one of the difficulties we are facing as local researchers.
Okay, and are you talking with the family now in Syria? Because I know there's part of your family there. No?
Yes, part of my family in Damascus, other part in Europe.
And how are they doing now during this time of Corona and a lot of other things, of course?
Actually, most of their concerns and their daily life based on the economy, on the very basic things. Not nobody's talk about. I'm talking about my family. The pandemic is not the question. The question is the economy.
Yeah.
They are good.
Yeah, this is what I was thinking about, and I think we talked about it before. Like all these layers that at the moment in Syria, like the political situation, the fights in the family, Makhlouf family, and the Bashar al-Assad family, and also the economical situation and Corona. So I think really Corona is the less thing that people are concerning about with all the other events. What you are seeing the news, no, and what's going on in Syria at the moment.
Sometimes Makhlouf is a new vaccine. Is a vaccine against Corona actually inside Syria, because
maybe we talk a bit about who's he, because some of the people, I think, they don't know this name. Maybe.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Is a Assad president cousin. He was one of the top 5 businessmen in the last 30 years in Syria. And now the Syrian regime and the authority in Syria, they control the biggest company that he is owning. It's called Syria Telecommunication Company. And Yes, and then he appeared on the social media and start to explain what the problem. Actually, he didn't say much, but by appearing on social media, this is something very, very new
Yeah.
in Syria to see one of the regime figures online. That's
Yeah.
something totally new. And
And to
then
hear all
Syrians
this,
start to make.
yeah, exactly. To hear, I
Yeah.
I was a bit really also shocked. Like a lot of people are going now online, putting a camera and started to talk openly about something was totally hidden for years, and now it's just like open for everybody. For me, really, it's a shock. How's this happening?
Yeah, and especially when it comes to people though on that top levels,
Yes, yeah.
regime
On the inner
seniors, people.
circle of
So
the regime. Yeah.
yeah, because when if you remember, like in 2000s, when we hear Makhlouf in Syria, it's like a man. We have no idea who is he and how he's how the way he sees things, how he behaves. He had really, we had no idea. So when he appeared online, and then we figured out that he's very, say, like, he's a normal person, and we gave him a size bigger than the way we used to think he is. So yeah, I think that the issue of Makhlouf is just something come on social media, on his own Facebook, claiming, blaming some other regime figures. He did not name any person in names, but and tried to victimize himself. Try to also use some words to mobilize some specific community in Syria. It's like it's very small story, in fact, of course, but it shows us a lot at the same
Yes.
time.
Yeah.
But then, in the end, nobody talks about Corona. If you get to talk about Makhlouf, this is why I'm saying he's sort of vaccine,
Yeah. But how much you think?
psychological vaccine.
How much you think that this Corona situation now at the moment, which bring all this also out, how much you think that this is connected? I don't know, because when Corona started, also started in Syria these talks about the economic situation and these fights in the family. So I don't know. I just was thinking it how much it could be connected. It's connected, I think. Yeah, but how?
It's connected in somehow. It's when Corona today is not Corona 2 months ago. So
Yes.
when started the pandemic, and we for example, what happened with me, then I start to be more connect with people inside Syria, outside, my friends, my families. I'll be more active online, and I think everybody does that. But today we get used to it, not in terms of pandemic, not health side of it, in terms of um, our daily life structure, our day structure, the structure of the day. We get used to it. Like we lock down, I back to my work. I have a lot of work. I have some deadlines. Very soon I have to publish some things, and but at the same time keep light connecting with people. We all were like very connected, and now is we back to our normal daily life. Most of us become
Yeah.
get used to it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
strange this
that's I
using
think.
to things after a time you use to the fear till it's not scary anymore, or so we are bored also of like feeling now we're bored of fear, bored of yeah, you are right. Okay, I wanted to ask you about your sister. I think she's an actress and a freelancer in Syria, no? How is it for freelancers, you think, in Syria? How they got support, or if they are getting support, or in Lebanon, for example?
It's very difficult. Not even my sister, I think, to be a freelancer nowadays in the Middle East is something very, very difficult. The entire art environment, like my sister, I have and my brother is a dancer, and I have two sisters are actors. So to be a freelancer is not something easy. So yeah, but you still somehow have solidarity from the people surrounding you, from people. The whole entire let me put it in this way: the the Syrian society structure, is based on extended families, not on the individual. So what I mean by that, of course, you have difficulties in finding job, or you have like stable income, but at the same time, you still have social support from people around you. And that extended family is it's something, it's very important in the Middle East and in Syria more in specific, because it provides sort of insecurity, says everybody need it. So freelancers, like the case of my family or some friends also inside Syria or in Lebanon, they can survive through this extended families networks, let's say,
And you mean by
or
extended
some
families
friends.
is not just the family, also the friends. Ah, yeah.
Yeah, that
But
the aunt and
yeah,
uncle, cousins, yeah, the whole structure, social structure is based on extended families. Of course, the war affects the structure, there's no doubt about this, but still you have some of it that is the base of people. People are relying on it. Actually, I'm one of them. So it's extended family is something. If you compare it to the West, I used to live in Italy for 2 years. In Italy it has a similar structure actually, but in North Europe or Anglo-Saxon countries like UK, USA, there you don't have such a structure. You have individual and state. You have institutions and you have individuals. So the structure totally different. When we talk about Syria, that sometimes I discuss with my colleagues or with Syrians who they're involved in the public affairs, that the system we want in our country is a survival system, and we need institutions, but also we want to keep the extended family structure. That's something, it's very important. And actually Syria is destroyed from the war, but still the society and local communities still somehow in resilience. So local structure, extended family is matter here. How
okay.
is Berlin? How is Berlin pandemic? How is Berlin lockdown?
In Berlin is now actually getting better. People are going out again. The restaurants are open, cafes. You see a lot of people in the street. I mean, there's a lot of restrictions, and you have to keep the distance and with a mask all the time. But people are slowly getting their freedom again. And here in the theater, we also meet online, and some rehearsals are going online. We meet, or some rehearsals, like people working in the rehearsals, meet in a smaller group. Or, I mean, everybody now in Berlin, it's now the time of dealing with Corona, not feeling like shit, Corona, and being afraid of it. Now we know it, and also people try to see how we want to go on, how we can go on with knowing that
I
this
saw,
virus is
I
here.
saw, I saw news some demonstrations in Berlin against the government lockdown
I saw a
policy.
bus
That is
demonstration last time.
conspiracy. Some people believe in conspiracy theory here.
Actually, I think so. Yeah, there should be some people thinking conspiracy. I don't know. I don't know a lot about it actually.
What do you think?
Ugh, no, I don't want to talk about myself and what I think. No, I don't. I don't know. uh, yeah, but I saw also some demonstrations happening because of Corona. Okay, I wanna jump to another point, which is I know that you are interested in the art environment and development during the war in Syria, inside and outside the country, and also, of course, you have also two actors, sister and a brother dancer. So you were already in the. Mm, yeah. So my question is to tell us more about it, or yeah.
Yeah, it's. Uh, I had an experience. I can talk about this topic
Cool.
through my own experience. So
Mm-hmm.
in 2017,
Mm-hmm.
I tried to work with Syrian artists inside Syria
Mm-hmm.
on a fiction film, and we start to make. I designed the research. That was the idea, to connect uh, social research to art, art, social research to artists. Okay,
Project. Yeah.
so
Mm-hmm.
what I meant by that time, the way I was seeing it, that I observed most of the Syrian art materials was based on personal experience.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, that something, it was a question for me, why most of Syrians
Mm-hmm.
are working on their own personal experience as a subject.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that time, maybe because there is lack of research, of lack of understanding, or making conducting research, or making good materials. Yeah.
But
So sorry.
you had this idea about the people also inside Syria or just outside, or both. You think that?
That was my observation. That time was on Syrian arts in general,
Okay.
Syrian
Mm-hmm.
arts post 2011, after the uprising. But
Yeah.
I can explain more. So
Mm-hmm.
my experience that time was, I designed a research
Mm-hmm.
based on my methodology. My methodology meaning, like, you have to go to the ground, make like interviews, ask people um, um, about their ordinary Syrians inside, about their own stories. So we collected, that I remember, is more than 10 very good stories from ordinaries. But then the artist I was working with, two of them left to Germany. They got fellowship there, which is understandable. And the other artist, he wanted to work on his own experience again. So that is a question. Then the project could not. Then the project ended, cancelled.
Okay.
I asked a question for myself: why most of Syrians work on their own experience as subject? If you see most of the documentaries, or many of the documentaries, actually based on this personal experience. So my critique for that is there is differentiate between a personal experience and the subject is a personal experience. The first is not the second. It's totally different. And then I realized that it's the entire system works in this way. If I have now a personal story I want to tell, so I am the director, I am the character. The story is my story, and then the film is about me, not by me. So I think this is something interesting to stop and think about it. Of course, some of the materials that published are very good art, but what is next is very difficult when you start your own project about yourself. And then look now, we are in 2020. Most of the Syrian artists, inside or outside, especially outside now, because they have better tools and they have platforms and they have access to funds. Most of them, they have no new materials to work with. New materials, because new materials need research, and to make research, you have to have your own questions.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's I have an interest on the art environment in Syria. It's I come from a different field, from social research. If the art is if the science is exact, the art is truthful. So how can you connect them together? Only through research. I'm not an artist myself, but I know how to. I think I know how to work with artists, but through research, of course. I'm talking about research. So I know how to design a research, and all what we need today to make the quality of Syrian art better is two things. First, to work on subjects around us, not about us. First, second, to work on long, take your time on working on the project. If you see most of the Syrian arts outside Syria today is based on short movies. It's short movies, or you have essays or story, or it's something like not more than 2 pages or 3 pages. But that's understandable, because in order to make a project, you need a structure. when you want to make a structure, you need time. And today it's everybody wants to publish. Everybody wants to shoot and make films. So it's need to be patient
Yeah.
to make good quality of art.
My question is what do you mean by quality? And also something else we were talking about last time. You separated two things. You said there's an artist and there's a voice of an artist, and I would like that if you could talk a bit about it more, and if you could also talk a bit about what do you mean by quality of the Syrian art, or what is the missing you think?
It's what I mean by the quality is not experimental. Today, most of the Syrian new generation artists, they are trying to make something. It's now is the time to make things. Is not trying. So that period gone. It's not there. So we need well projects, mid long term projects. Collaboration is very important. You need to work as a team. Team is very important. Producer is very important. Director is like must be in order. You can't do everything you as an artist. So collaboration, team, mid and long term project that will guarantee the quality. First, second, about the voice is this is a very complicated topic. Actually, the concept of voice is come from post-Arab Spring, or during the Arab Spring, or in the contents of the Arab Spring in 2000, starting from 2011. That is not only in the art community, and also research community, journalism, everything related to public affairs is voice here is appear. So what is voice? Voice is, like my case, I'm a local researcher, but I'm not a voice from Syria. I'm a local researcher from Syria, but I'm not a voice from Syria. This is the first is this different. It's the same. You are artists from Syria, but you are not a voice from Syria. You know what I mean? Because yeah.
I think I think I know what you mean, but I'm just was wondering about this word of a voice. I think I also we talked about it before that the voice. I think a voice of an artist is something good to have, but what you mean, I think it's I think what you mean that when Syrian artists came here, or they represented as not because they are artists, not because the quality of their work, because where
because
they came from.
the
And
country they come
yes,
from.
I
Exactly.
think stories maybe it's better than voice for me. I don't know, because of a story, because of a background. I said maybe what you mean, maybe what I think about the voice could be stories more than voices. Could be that an artist here represented not because of the quality of his art, of his work as an actor, for example, just because his story, he got this platform and this space because he's a story from Syria, or a background, something like this. So we don't look anymore. What you mean that we don't look anymore about the quality of this artist work. We look at it from the perspective where he came from and his story, and this is what I understood. But
in the end, in the end, everybody has a story.
Yeah.
Any person has a story, and personal story. I got what you mean. I understand it, but I think a voice is something more interesting concept to work on. If you look to the European institutions, they have very good intention in helping Syrians, Yemenis, Egyptians, whatever, people from the southern countries. Their criteria in making the art community and their institutions is based on the country you come from, the story you have, but in order to make a counter argument for their own political debate in their countries.
Yeah,
So,
understood.
you know what I mean? So the voice here is come. Like, for instance, I was seeing a play online recently during this lockdown. I saw a woman refugees on the stage. So I asked a question to myself: why the director wanted to show us this? They are not
Actors.
actors, but they are voices, because the whole play is about the refugees. So it's when you want to talk about refugees, so bring refugees with you. I think the problem with this logic is not about equality or good quality or bad quality. No, it's about I am as an audience. I have no choice to judge
The work as
the
a
show I'm seeing.
yeah.
Okay, I have to get emotional with them. So today, Syrian art environment is based on the idea to touch your emotional feeling rather than open a debate on the theme they are working on. So, I think
I
we
know what
need
you mean,
some
yeah.
projects that break this. Otherwise, we will be only voices. We have no agencies.
Yeah.
So
I think,
that will affect
yeah, I
our
understood this.
environment.
And I think this was at the beginning, maybe start with 2015. The first 3 years here in Europe, this is the platform which was giving also to Syrians to have a space or to have a voice, to come from this angle. But yeah, my wish actually that yeah, things develops and that we change this and find materials and not talk just about our stories and ourselves. I agree with this. Okay, actually,
Yeah, it's like yeah.
yeah, you want to say something?
No, no.
Okay. No, because actually this is what I prepared to talk with you. So thank you so much for the talk, and it was really interesting. And yeah, I hope it was also interesting for you to be with us today.
Yeah,
And
thank you very much. Thanks for you.
thank
I
you,
just want
really.
actually to clarify the last point because it's a bit sensitive.
Yeah,
I don't want to be misunderstood here.
yeah.
What I'm saying that it's for the coming. I'm talking for the coming 10 years. We have in Syria very good materials. We have rooted structure, rooted culture, and very strong structure among Syrian arts communities. And we deserve actually to have better a future in terms of producing good quality of art based on research, questions we care about, not being within an framework of an institutions where categorized us and make stereotypes of us. I think that's something what I'm talking on the what we need for the coming years to make the art, Syrian art environment function better.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yes, I agree. Thank you. Okay. It was a pleasure to talk to you, Kheder, and I hope soon we will meet in real.
Yeah, hope soon. Hope
Okay.
soon.
So have a good day and
Yes.
see you.
You too.
Ciao.
You too. Okay.
Bye
Ciao,
bye.
ciao.
So everybody, that was it. I hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you next time. Maybe. Have a good evening. Ciao.